On April the 14th, 2024, an angry mob of pro-Palestine protesters descended upon Ottawa. They marched past Parliament Hill and ended up in front of the Prime Minister's office. Over the past few months, that has been a very familiar sight, with protesters becoming more and more aggressive as time goes on. There have been some pushing matches with police. A reporter has been assaulted. At least one reporter has been assaulted.
Watch your hands. We have your hands. Watch your hands.
And the cops were right there. I saw in the video, the cops are watching it all.
Yes.
There have been minor assaults and altercations with the police. There's even been death threats towards the police.
I'm telling you, because if he touches me, I'm putting him on the floor. You come near me, I'll put you lay down on the floor. I'll lay you sleep. I'll put you 6 feet deep. I'll put you 6 feet deep.
And yet the police have done nothing to quell what I consider to be violent protests. This is in stark contrast to what happened 2 years ago with the mainly peaceful, with the completely peaceful trucker protest in Ottawa of February 2022.
Video showing the moment police with Toronto's mounted unit moved through the crowds Friday near the Chateau Laurier, an attempt to separate protesters from a line of officers slowly advancing. As this happened, 2 people fell to the ground, colliding with the horse. Family members posting on social media. The woman involved suffered a broken clavicle.
Watch out. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hold him. Stop it. Stop. Keep him. Stop it. You just fight on progress. You just fight on progress.
So these pro-Palestine protests are somewhat different. We know that they're more aggressive, but what about the August 14th protest is particularly different? In one word, sedition. I'm going to read from the Criminal Code directly, just one paragraph from the Criminal Code. So it's a subsection and a paragraph. Subsection 59(4), paragraph A. Without limiting the generality of the meaning of the expression seditious intention, everyone shall be presumed to have a seditious intention who teaches or advocates the use, without the authority of law, of force as a means of accomplishing a governmental change within Canada. That's what sedition is in terms of what happened on the 14th of April. There's other subsections and paragraphs in this part of the Criminal Code, but they don't apply. That's what applies. The punishment for sedition is found under Section 61 of the Criminal Code. And it reads, everyone who speaks seditious words is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 14 years. So let's take a look at a video that captured this particular protest.
for revolution in front of the Prime Minister's office.
So let's be clear. Sedition is the use of speech or words to incite others to rebel against the government or the governing authority. Section 60 of the Criminal Code protects people who criticize the government from being charged with sedition. And it reads, notwithstanding subsection 59(4), no person shall be deemed to have a seditious intention by reason only that he intends, in good faith, to show that Her Majesty has been misled or mistaken in her measures, to point out errors and defects in the government or Constitution of Canada or a province, Parliament or the legislature of a Parliament, or the administration of justice in Canada, to procure by lawful means the alteration of any matter of government in Canada, or to point out, for the purpose of removal, matters that produce or tend to produce feelings of hostility and ill will between different classes of persons in Canada. What that means is your freedom of speech is protected so long as you don't incite a rebellion against Canada. Essentially, the unlawful transfer of government or the unlawful overthrow of the lawfully established government of Canada. So you can say a lot. You can call for an early election. You can say that the government is doing a poor job and not representing Canadians. But you cannot call for a rebellion. That is seditious intent, and it's punishable by 14 years. And yet it seems like these protests in Ottawa are just allowed to go on and on and on while clearly violating the law. It is my opinion that the Ottawa police should not allow this to continue. If they do, we will see these protests get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the threat of violence and the threat of an actual rebellion in Canada become more and more real as time goes on. The law of sedition is meant to keep us safe and meant to keep us from being subjected to people who will overthrow the lawful establishment of the government in Canada. And that should be used here. We have people whom I believe are Marxist agitators taking control of a crowd who rightfully have concerns. They don't rightfully have concerns, in my view, against the Canadian government, but they have concerns. They have very real concerns that atrocities are being carried out in the Middle East. I'm not going to take sides in that, but I will say this. They're bringing it to Canada, and they're threatening revolution in Canada. And that is unacceptable. That is seditious intent that needs to be acted upon. In my view, the Ottawa police needs to break up these protests, and they need to charge the organizers. We have organizers of a peaceful protest, some of whom have been in jail for, or who were in jail for a very long time, some of whom are under criminal charge. And yet these people who are clearly violating the law, and a very serious law at that, are allowed to continue to violate that law. The inaction of the police are making it dangerous for Canadians. But that's just my opinion. What's your opinion? Let me know in the comments below. Go check me out on Rumble, Northwest Cavalryman on Rumble. I want to get that platform up and running because it is less likely to be shadow banned. I am being shadow banned here on YouTube. I'm going to continue to post on YouTube. Go down in the comments, put comments below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, that notification button, share with your friends. All of that helps the algorithm, gets this message out to as many people as possible. I hope you've enjoyed this video or have got something out of it, and we'll see you on the next video.